All right, we all have those things that we like to do. So consider how you can adapt your leisure activities to meet your needs. Here is a cool knitting aid. I believe this is called from a website called knittingaid.com. So basically the knitting needle is attached to this device to give you more control, but prevent the needles from being dropped. The needles are a little bit bigger, so you can hold on to them a bit better, and it helps with the threading of the yarn as well. Considering adapted gardens, so just raising those garden beds up so that you are able to not have to bend over, not have to get down onto the ground. You can sit on a stool and work, or even probably get up to that garden bed with a wheelchair. There are a ton of different video game and computer adaptations these days to allow you to have access to those. So this is an example of an Xbox controller that has, not so fine switches. You can use your hands a little bit more. So if you're interested in any of those computer or video game adaptations, reach out to a tech center to get a consultation with a therapist to see what would work best for you. And here is a great example. People just want to spend time with family or hold their grandchildren, but you might not have the arm strength to hold your grandchild. So coming up with ideas of, this little kangaroo pouch, you're able to hold your grandchild safely without having to have the strength to do that. Think about spending time on the couch or the chair and having them on your lap rather than walking and holding, or having them hang out with you on the bed or the couch rather than getting down on the floor and not being able to get back up so easily. So think of ways that you can adapt those activities that you do. Get creative with it. All right, so this is kind of a busy slide, but we'll briefly go over the different types of braces and splints that you might get from an occupational therapist, or that could be beneficial from you. So if your neck strength is getting weaker, it's more difficult to hold up your head, especially at the end of the day, you might consider a soft collar. These are very basic, again, Amazon, Walgreens. They provide a little bit of support to hold that chin up. They're soft, so they're more comfortable, except if your head is really weak, your neck is really weak, and you really don't have much strength left in there, your chin will this won't provide enough support for you. But in the early stages or at the end of the day, this might be good. This provides a little bit more support. This is called the Headmaster. It's nice because it's a little bit more breathable. Your chin essentially just rests on this harder support. I don't hear the best about this being the most comfortable thing, but think of ways that you can pad up that chin a little bit more to make it more comfortable. And it allows you a little bit more side-to-side head turning space compared to something like the Aspen collar here, which is what, the people that have spine surgery or neck injuries, this is what they wear to really immobilize. So this provides a lot of support to hold your head up, but you don't have a lot of side-to-side motion at all. This head up collar, sorry, the picture is a little blurry, but this head up collar is a new invention recently that we have just discovered. So you need to go to an orthotist to get this fit for you. So it's molded to you, and it provides a lot of support to keep your head in a nice position. Most of, I think like 80-something% of people said that they liked it. Again, it's pretty bulky, but it's fit to you. So it might be a good consideration if you're having a lot of neck weakness. A figure 8 brace is a nice brace to help expand your chest, keep those shoulders back from slouching, keep you in a nice upright position. This is also good to use to help you expand those lungs and practice that deep breathing that is so important. Slings, especially if you have a really weak arm, help support so you don't have that shoulder drop. You don't want that shoulder separating from the socket, and helps just protect that arm and keep it more comfortable when you're up and moving. A wrist cock-up splint helps keep your hand or your wrist in a more functional position. So, and if you don't have the strength to keep that hand up, it keeps it in a more neutral position. You're able to use your fingers a little bit better, you know, grab onto things as needed. A resting hand splint is nice to use if your hand is really weak or it's starting to, you know, tighten up, especially at night. I like to have people wear these at nighttime to give your hand a nice long stretch so it doesn't get stuck in a position like this, because that's not very comfortable. And oftentimes people tend to get some weakness in their thumb, a lot of muscle loss right here. A thumb spica splint is nice because it keeps your thumb in, again, a functional position so that you're able to use it kind of as a backboard if you've still got some good strength in your hand and your fingers. Oftentimes, I like to tell people to try the off-the-shelf version first. And if you have a unique situation or the off-the-shelf didn't quite work for you, you know, consult an orthotist or consult an occupational therapist, and we're happy to make something for you. And some additional aids and technology. So consider phone mounts. You know, and if you can't quite use your hands to hold your phone, this brings it up to eye level. You can FaceTime, you can use voice to text, you can still use your phone effectively. These mobile arm supports are, this is a pretty low-tech mobile arm support, but it helps a lot. So you clip it onto the edge of your table and your arm rests on it, and it provides you that support to move around, whether it's to eat or to use the computer or to do your hair, to paint on your easel. It gives you that support if you don't quite have the strength to lift your arm up. Here is a portable ramp. This one's kind of big and bulky, but they make ramps of different sizes. Nice to have if you're going over to your friend's house and they've got those few steps to get in and your wheelchair or you can't do the stairs. So nice to have in the back of the trunk for times like those. Here is an easy cane. If you Google that, you can find this product. It's a cane attached to a little step right here. So that's nice because it helps bridge the gap between two stairs. If you're able to lift your leg up, but not quite enough to fully do a stair, this helps bridge that gap. So that might be nice when you're doing curbs or going to a soccer game and have to do the bleachers, or you know, just out in the community where there's uneven steps. So pretty cool invention that was recommended to me by a client. All right, exercise. It's still important and you should still be doing it, but again, you should not be doing too much of it. So we always encourage stretching and range of motion. That's not going to hurt you. That's going to be very good for you. And we don't want those joints that aren't moving as well to get tight. We don't want frozen shoulder. We want everything loose and we want the blood flowing. Cardio is great. I love to tell people to walk, do their recumbent bikes, do their stationary bikes, start low, work your way up. You shouldn't feel completely exhausted or be in pain after you do a workout. Swimming, it's great. It provides you that buoyancy, but also a little bit of resistance. It's an excellent workout, whether it's just a class or actually doing laps. You know, consider what you like to do in the water. Yoga is good. We don't want any of that strength training yoga really, but you know, gentle stretching, range of motion again. Making sure that you're doing those breathing exercises. We got to keep the muscles that are around your lungs and around your rib cage nice and strong, and prevent them from getting too tight so that you can't take a deep breath. Remember that diaphragm is really important. We want you to take those deep breaths, expand your chest, expand your stomach, and allow as much air in and out of your lungs as you can. So mild to moderate exercise, all in all, the research has found is okay, it's good. It doesn't have adverse effects. So focus on those low weights, high repetitions, and you should not be sore into the next day or fatigued for hours after. So monitor how much energy or how much, how you're feeling after a workout, how much energy you have if you're having any pain, stiffness, soreness, and if you do, you might have to dial it back a little.